You guys already know that I recently started my YouTube channel, my Instagram page and everything, and for the longest time I was shooting with the iPhone 16 Pro, but a while back I finally decided to get myself an actual camera. This one. Yeah, this is the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II and I love this thing, but it also has its fair share of problems. So if you're thinking of getting your first ever video camera and you're wondering whether this is worth your money, then this video is for you. Hey guys, I'm Akshay from 8-Bit Toast and let's jump right in. So this is the camera right here, and yeah, this has an APS-C sensor. It's not a full frame camera, so the shots are cropped in a bit. And yeah, you get the 16 to 50mm kit lens here with optical steady shot and power zoom. But yeah, 16mm on an APS-C camera is not the same as 16mm on a full frame camera because it's cropped in, so it's more equivalent to a 24mm lens on a full frame camera. Now that's not really a problem, it's just something you should know. Apart from that, you get all these ports here. You get the mic and the Type-C port, you get the SD card slot, and yeah, it's just a single SD card slot on this camera. You get the headphone out and you get a micro HDMI port. You also get the FZ100 battery, which is an improvement over the smaller battery in the ZV-E10 Mark I, so it lasts longer during shoots and you have to charge it less frequently. Now this is a vlogging oriented camera, so the screen flips over completely. You get a built-in mic here and a wind muff, plus you get power zoom, which makes it easy to zoom in and out when you're vlogging with a single hand. You get a simpler button layout as compared to something like the A7S III or the A7 IV. And yeah, you get one custom button here which is set default to background blur. But yeah, you can set it up for basically anything out of the options in the menu. Now I mostly shoot on a tripod, so I don't end up using it much, either for the default background defocus mode or for any of the other options that you can set up. Other than that, you also don't get any secondary dial for modes. It's just a simple toggle that you can use to switch between picture mode, video mode, and the slow and quick mode. So I'm recording this audio using the built-in mic on the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, and yeah, the audio quality is fine, but it's not amazing, and I would recommend that you use an external mic for better quality audio. Moving on, you're probably considering this camera for shooting YouTube videos, shorts, and Instagram reels, and it is perfect for all of those things. Yeah, it can shoot 4K 60 FPS in 422 sLog 3, so you get plenty of flexibility in post-production, and a recent free software update also brought in 4K 120 FPS support as well. 4K 120 was the one feature that was making me consider getting the A6700, but now it's here and that's amazing. Plus, if you're shooting in sLog 3, you can actually embed your own LUTs directly in the camera, and you can even import your own custom LUTs to the camera and directly apply them on the footage. But yeah, I normally shoot sLog 3 directly without any LUTs and do all the edits in post-production. That said, if you don't want to shoot raw footage, you can actually use creative looks to get some creativity in your shots as well. But I would recommend that you shoot in sLog 3 because it will give you the maximum flexibility in editing and you get greater dynamic range as well. Other than that, you can choose the white balance here, so you get the default options like auto, daylight, shade, etc. and you can set it to custom based on your lighting setup. It also gets Sony eye tracking autofocus, which is really good. I mean, it simply locks onto the subject and makes sure that your footage is completely in focus. And it also comes with different target recognition like human, birds, and animals. Another reason why this is great for videos, especially if you're into creating Instagram reels or YouTube shorts, is that it has a dedicated vertical mode. So when you switch your camera into the vertical orientation, it automatically records video in vertical mode, and all the UI also adjusts accordingly. So it makes it very easy to create short form content for Instagram or YouTube. Now this isn't a photo oriented camera and it doesn't even have a mechanical shutter. So if you're shooting fast moving subjects, you will get some rolling shutter, but it does have a photo mode and it is actually quite decent. It takes 26 megapixel photos and you can choose between JPEG and HEIF formats, and you can also shoot raw photos if you want greater flexibility during editing, and for the most part it actually shoots really good photos. Of course, you can't really compare it with higher end cameras like the A7S III or the A7 IV, but for the price it does really good, and all of this is with the kit lens. If you get some better lenses, you will get even better photos and videos out of this camera. So yeah, this is a really good camera, but it's got some issues as well. First up, this is really small, and that's great for portability, but it's not so great for ergonomics. I mean, holding it with one hand doesn't feel quite as confidence inspiring as you would like, and for the most part, if you're shooting handheld, you will end up holding it with both hands at the same time. Also, since it's small, it heats up quite quickly, and most of the videos on YouTube about this camera say that it will heat up outdoors and not indoors, but in India, this will heat up pretty much anywhere. Yeah, it's not as much of a problem when you're shooting short form content like YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, but for long form YouTube videos, this does heat up every single time. Even in December in Delhi, it does heat up during long form video shoots, so yeah, definitely get a fan for it. Another issue with this camera is that it gets a single SD card slot, unlike the dual SD card slots you get in more expensive cameras, which is great for data backup because then your video gets recorded to both cards at the same time, and if one of your card fails, you at least have the secondary card as a backup. With this camera, if your SD card fails, you're done. Now, luckily, I haven't had that issue yet with the SD card that I'm using, but it is definitely a worry that I do have. So who is this camera for? See, if you're a creator and you're focused mostly on vlogging or short form content like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels like me, then this camera is simply perfect. It's not as expensive as something like the A7S III, but it can still shoot 4K 60 in 422 sLog 3. It's small, so it's super portable, you can carry it anywhere, and it doubles up as a really good camera for photos as well. However, if you're more focused on creating long form videos or you're thinking of getting into professional videography like wedding shoots and all, then this isn't the right camera for you. I mean, it will heat up really quickly outdoors. It also only has a single SD card slot, so your data won't be backed up, and it's not the best for photos. So what do you think about this camera? Are you thinking of buying this, or are you thinking of going for something else like the A6700 or even a full frame camera like the A7S III or the A7 IV? Let me know in the comments. Also give this video a like and subscribe to 8-Bit Toast for more amazing videos like this. See you next time.